Hey everybody, this is Toby Eunice. Thanks for joining me tonight. You're with the Gypsy Kiss. We're going to talk about our favorite topic, the treasure that Forrest Fenn hid somewhere in the mountains north of Santa Fe. Don't forget, you can send a text or call in 1-800-947-1043. Let's dance the Fenndango. So, don't forget before you leave, like this video, give it the thumbs up. YouTube likes it when you like our videos. We like it when you like our videos. Make sure that you share it with your family, friends, neighbors, business associates, and social networks so that we can grow. And of course, if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe now. And when you see that notifications bell, click it so that you will be notified first to know when we launch a new live stream or when we upload a video. There is an echo on the background music. Who asked that? Aaron, there is a slight echo, but it should go away now. All right? So let me make one little transition here. There we go. So I'm going to leave that slide up so that you have the number. I haven't actually turned... Hang on, I got to do something else here. There we go. So I haven't turned the phones on just yet. You can send a text message, but I thought what I might do first is go through the text messages and voicemails that I've already received this week. Okay? And then, of course, once we do that... Oh! Is that K-Pro in the room of the Raven's Nest? I have a present for you here. That was probably a little bit too loud for you. Those ravens. Okay, so let's start with some of the calls that some of the text messages that I received earlier in the week. Hi, Toby. This is Debbie from New Orleans. Has Forrest Fenn ever indicated that only the poem is needed to find the chest, since the map was not in the thrill of the chase? Thanks to you and Shelley for all you do. Well, you're welcome. We enjoy what we do. According to one of our commenters, we're having too much fun and making too much money. And I replied by saying I wondered what his definition of too much money was, because I don't think we're making that much money. Debbie, what Fenn has said consistently is that you need the poem and that you should read the book, and that you should read the poem, then read the book, read the book, read the poem, go back and read the book again, and alternate between the two, and then everything you need to know is in the book. And because the poem is in the book, the clues are in the book. So this is from, I don't have a name, Dawn. Do you think the little girl in India came up with a correct solution on her first try? Is it possible she had multiple solutions? So I'm guessing that Dawn is referring to the little girl in India with whom I was engaging in a conversation through her father, Karishma. Once all I asked her for was to come up with her best solution to the first two clues. And so it stopped there. I don't think she actually didn't know. So it was a double blind. She wasn't talking to me. She was talking to her father, and I was talking to her father. And so all I asked was that they would give me an indication of what the first two clues were to the poem, but she knew nothing else. She didn't know why I needed the first two clues. So it is unlikely she had multiple solutions. This one is from our friend David Dow. Toby, may I have a Toby Eunice version, well articulated, of the difference between a clue and a hint? David, we believe that debating the differences between clues and hints are a waste of time. And as a matter of fact, you can go to our blog at gypsykiss.com, and within the past week I've written a blog post, a short blog post on that topic, and next week, the theme of our programming, including our show on Tuesday, will be about not wasting your time defining the differences between clues and hints, and I'll explain it in that show. So I'm not going to, again, since we don't believe that it makes for a good argument, for a good debate, I don't have a definition. I ignore the difference between clues and hints. It doesn't help me get closer to the treasure. We'll talk about a lot of that next week. So, let's see. Has the Warm Waters map, this is also from Todd. Has the Warm Waters map in the New Mexico fishing regulation changed from 2010 to now? Yes, it changes almost annually in some respect as the Department of Game and Fish determines what actually are the trout waters and what actually are the special trout waters. So, and it's all based on land ownership, where the trout waters are, what they're seeing in the various sections, et cetera, et cetera. So it changes pretty consistently. But that shouldn't stop you from using it. I'll explain why. So, long question. This is from Shannon in Crystal River, Florida. I recall Forrest Fenn saying the person who finds the treasure will have solved the clues and go confidently to its location, but that seems to contradict the notion that you have to put boots on the ground to go from one clue to the next in sort of an iterative process involving multiple trips. Thoughts? ? I know he said that, and I know he expects that that's possible. But since I haven't figured out all 9 of the clues, I don't go with confidence. I can honestly say when people ask me if we know where the treasure is, my answer is no, we're looking for it. And we've never gone with confidence. And the reason we've never gone with confidence is because I've never been able to decipher the riddles that represent the clues in the poem. So it's easier for us to agree upon the fact that we have a good sense of the first 2 clues, and then we spend our search time looking for the rest of them, seeing if we can find things on the ground that are physical representations of the riddles in the poem. But that's our approach. It shouldn't keep you from trying to identify all the clues while sitting at your desk. And then going out boots on the ground, because your first boots on the ground experience, regardless of the conclusions that you come to about the poem, will be exactly the same as everybody else's first boots on the ground experience. You'll discover 2 things. It's a problem that's bigger than you imagined, and your first solution was crazy wrong. That's everybody's first experience. So, we got a voicemail. Long voicemail from Doug. Okay, so let's play Doug's voicemail. He's always fun. Let's see what Doug has to say.
Hello, this is Doug from New Orleans, Louisiana. And finally to my questions. I guess it's more of a comment. Boots on the ground. I was there. And basically, I didn't go in the wood, but there was this thing that looked like a stump. But it was disguised as a stump. It was like bark laid around it, like in shingles. And then next to it was this gnarled tree. So I started pulling the shingles off of this thing, and it's like, this is not a stump at all. And it looks like... I don't know if it was a hunter's little place or... Anyway, my point is, I've been out there. And thanks for your patience, the patience of Job. Now, my question is, I would like to go out there alone, in there alone. But the bears will eat me. I thought I was in like a Sasquatch nest or something. Speaking of nests, it's the bird in the crescent moon, which is the bend in the river, like the ball of string. And if the solution is so funny as the answer to this whole riddle, I must be delusional. But anyway, the hotel is going to close. The season's going to end. Is it going to be buried in snow? Do I have to bring my hip waders and bear bells and bear spray? And and when you get there, no cell phone service. So it's right there, like.
So he's cut off because the voicemail limit is 2 minutes. But, Doug is always fun. So I'm not sure there was a question in any of that for me to answer for him, unfortunately. So text message. Oops, another voicemail. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah, this is Larry from Texas. I was just curious about if you think that he dug a hole or buried it underground. Although he's avoided that question, he won't say whether he buried it in the ground. I just wanted your opinion if you think he did bury it. Thanks.
Okay, so that was a good voicemail. I like that. We're going to give him applause. Yeah. Yay, Larry. You get a good voicemail. So, Larry, in answer to your question, no, I don't think he buried it in the ground. And I think if he had buried in the ground, he's changed the difficulty by an order of magnitude, maybe 2 orders of magnitude. Because we know that when Fenn buries stuff in the ground, he takes it really seriously. He buried his bells in his jars 3 feet deep in locations that will only be luck if we ever find those. So, I can't imagine that he went through the trouble of taking that chest out there, putting it in a special place, perhaps in a niche in a special place, was planning to throw his body on it. That doesn't sound to me like a man who buried his treasure. He hid his treasure, and whenever someone suggests that he buried his treasure, he corrects them, and he says, I didn't say I buried it. I said I hid it. And then he says, but that doesn't mean I buried it, which is like Fenn, of course. I can't imagine that he buried it because, again, he's increased the problem by at least an order of magnitude. So we have another text question from somebody in the room. So we're starting to get text questions for some folks in the room. It's from Sir Crow from Indiana. Why do you think Forrest is so certain that whoever finds the chest is the kind of person who can't keep a secret? I believe that Forrest said that early on in the search when there was a limited number of people looking for it, and I think he felt... I think he felt that he knew a lot of the people, whether person to person individually, and had come in contact with them, or had a sense of the kind of people that were looking for his treasure. And then I think as it's evolved, I don't have the sense that he still has the confidence that the person who finds the treasure won't be able to keep it a secret. I'm hoping that the person who finds the treasure, at a minimum, informs Fenn, whatever they do after that in terms of anonymity and location, et cetera, et cetera. I'm hoping, and I believe Fenn is hoping, and I'm pretty confident that the rest of the community is hoping that that whoever finds the treasure at least goes through the trouble of letting Fenn know that they've recovered the treasure. And then whatever they want to do, as I said, whatever they want to do after that in terms of the anonymity, they're welcome to do that. So, okay, that means we've done all our text messages and all our voicemails. So we can open up the phone lines. The 1-800-947-1043 is now open. So if you want to get on and talk to a Gypsy's Kiss, this would be the time to call. And if nothing else, just call and tell me how your research week went this week. Copper Dan sent me an email today about something that's happening in a good way with his new product, and I asked him to leave a voicemail regarding the product so that I could play it tonight. His response was that he was kind of worried that people have heard too much about it this week, so he's going to save it for next week. So we'll hear more about it next week if he isn't on somebody else's show and talks about it then. And then I know that Jonah Jones, our friend, Britt Chaser, our friend from the UK who was on our panel this week, he has put up a new video and reminded me. So I haven't seen it yet, but I think it was a response to Roundtable number 1, what and where warm water salt. So if you get a chance sometime, go and check out his new video. That's Brit Chaser on YouTube. Text messages and calls are open at 1-800-947-1043. So if you've got anything and you want to share, or you want to talk, or you have a question, just give us a call and we'll talk about them. Davio, come on, Davio, let's have a call. Call and ask a question. Let's do something here. Davio always calls. I have a sound effect for you, Davio. So call and let's talk. So we had a busy week between what Shelley was doing on her program and what we were doing on our program. We talked about the 9 clues, and that number was arbitrary. We just decided that we'd 9 clues. There may be more out there, but again, we're trying to avoid the differences. And as you'll see on our Tuesday show next week, for us, it's 9 pieces of intelligence, not 9 hints, not 9 clues, 9 pieces of intelligence. And we're going to show you how we measure each of those. So World Famous Gamer says, AGK, do you think the word key is the actual word that is key that Forrest talks about? If you look at the K, I can't, sorry. I'm looking at the restream. Let me see if I can get that back. Do you think the word key is the actual word that is key that Forrest is talking about? If you look at the K and quickly and go up, it spells key. I had not seen that before, World Famous Gamer. But as we like to say, anything is possible. We got an inbound call. That is really loud. Let's turn that down just a little bit, okay? Let's see who we've got. Caller, you've got AGK. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
My name's Larry.
Hey, Larry, it's Larry. Larry, was that Larry from the previous voicemail that you left?
Good question.
Yeah. What's your question?
Well, I was going to make a comment. Do you know what the name Jasper means as far as Jasper Creek in Colorado? Or
no, I'm not familiar with it. What can you tell us about it?
Well, the name Jasper means bringer of treasure.
Uh-huh.
If you look it up, it's a boy's name, and if you Google the boy's name Jasper, that's what it means, is bringer of treasure. Mm-hmm. And it was one of the 3 wise men, too.
So, if you don't mind me asking, how have you incorporated that into your solution?
Well, I found Jasper Creek. I'm not going to say what state it's in, but I did find a Jasper Creek.
And you're using it for what riddle in the poem? Is that Jasper Creek your warm water salt?
That's your creek. No, that's your creek.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's us.
There'll be no pain.
Very good. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Any other comments?
Let me think. Well, I've been out 5 times, boots on the ground, and I'm going one more time this year, this weekend, so before it gets too cold.
Mm-hmm. And where are you traveling from?
So, Texas.
Texas. Well, that's not too bad a trip, huh?
Yeah. So, yeah, and I kind of disagree about the thing about too far to walk. I think you have to drive down through a canyon before you get to the home of ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we try not to. We have our opinions, and we know that everybody else does. There are 350,000 people, according to Fenn, that have their opinions on the matter. So everybody is right, and nobody is wrong, is the way we see it, until they find the treasure. So we hope it's you, Larry.
Well, okay. Well, I'll let you know, okay?
I hope so. I would like to have you here. Well, make you a promise when you recover the treasure on this next trip. After you let Fenn know that it's recovered, give me a call and we'll do a live stream and let everybody know that you've recovered the treasure.
Okay, well, how would I let Fenn know? Would I email him or call
Yeah,
him,
you
or
can
what?
you can email him. I'm sure that once he finds out that you've recovered it, he'll want to have a telephone conversation with you. But of course that's up to you, because Fenn has always said he would do what the person who recovered the treasure would do. But if you want to reach out to him, the best thing to do is use his email account, which is forrestfenn@gmail.com, and that he shares that with everybody. That's common knowledge.
Okay,
So
roger that.
reach out,
Well, listen,
send him a picture. Send him a picture of that bracelet, laying on
I'll
top.
probably give it to him.
Yeah. So, but that's how you can reach out to him, and I'm sure he'll be happy to know that someone has found it. Heck, we'll all be happy to know that
All
someone
right,
has
thanks a
found
lot,
it.
Toby.
My pleasure. You have a good evening.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
That was Larry from Texas. Sound like he's pretty close to the treasure. So he mentioned Jasper Creek. I don't know. Jasper Creek sounds to me like a place in Colorado. I don't know for certain. So if any of you besides Larry knows where Jasper Creek is, maybe you can share it with us, because I have no idea. Phone lines are open. 1-800-947-1043. Call us and let's talk. Call me, K-Pro. Tell us how your week went now that you launched your YouTube channel on. Let me see if we can do this without blowing your ears out here. On the Raven's Nest. Yeah, ravens. I really need to adjust the volume on that. That's still too high. So I'm watching the chat roll by. Make sure that if you want me to see the question, so I'm watching it on what's called Restream.io, because we're streaming tonight's program to YouTube simultaneously, to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Periscope. And so what I see is kind of a chat stream from all of those locations, and it goes by quickly. I don't think I can scroll. Let me see if I can scroll. Oh, I can scroll. Oh, that's a new feature. Well, good. Let me go through those real quick and make sure I haven't missed any questions from the chat room. So, as I was going to say, look at all the people in the chat room. Dang, guys. A lot of people here tonight for a Friday night, which we're out partying. So let me say hi to a couple of folks that are in the room. Let's see. Now that I know that I can scroll down, so I'm going to go back down to the bottom here. So, let's see. Finding the Chest, welcome. That seems new. Dale Richards, a new name. Oh, it is Christy. All right, let's take a call from Christy here. A Gypsy's Kiss, let's talk.
Hello, Toby Eunice.
Hello, Christy. How are you doing?
I couldn't be better. It's Friday. I made it through the week.
Yeah, you did. How did your week go with your new YouTube channel launch, The Ravens? The Ravens
I
Nest.
love it. I'm going to have to get to, and I know that Shelly, because Shelly is the sound person. You do lots of things, but I know that Shelly that found that.
Yeah, she did. She's very good at finding those things.
So we had a great Monday, and there was a little tiny bet of a over-under of 75 people, and I think we topped out over 100. So I lost a terrible bet with Mike Calzar. He might be nice to me and not make me pay up so quickly. But had a great time. It was so fun in the chat, and then we had an after party that went, I think, too long. I think it went an hour and 40 minutes. It was over on Mike's channel.
The abduction on Calazar's?
Yes, yeah. Which he picked the name. He gets to do the things on his channel, and it was fun. It was great, and we have our and oh goodness. And then Wednesday and Thursday I was both on. I was a little bit too much. I'm gonna scale back a little bit this next week. We're fully committing to Monday, and that's what I want to commit to. You don't need to see me that many times in the week. So But we have a ladies panel coming up. I don't know if you want to announce anything. I'm keeping kind of ambiguous, but I didn't know if anybody wanted to say who's on the ladies panel this next Monday.
Well, I don't know all of the folks that you've invited. I know that you have very courteously invited my partner, Shelley Carney, so I know that Shelley Carney will at least be on your ladies panel this coming Monday night, so we're looking forward to that. That's 7 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on Monday on the Raven's Nest.
Exactly.
So
if anyone, I'm so excited that Shelley accepted, and I think this is a perfect example. We have somebody that searches with their spouse, somebody that searches with their friend, which is you, and has a spouse, and we have somebody that searches alone. We have somebody, I mean, it's just going to be an awesome night. But anyone that wants to ask questions, I'm hoping Shelley gives up some good secrets about Toby. So it's going to be so fun, and I will apologize up front. I thought maybe if I could get 4 to 6 female searchers. I've had, I think, 12 or 15 reach out to me. I can't get everybody on the first week.
Well,
I was shocked that many women searchers have come forward. So I want to thank everybody, but it's just going to be a fun night, and we see what happens. But Shelley is going to be fantastic. I'm so excited. That's like the pinnacle of there's going to be, and there is going to be some people who've never been on YouTube ever. So this will be kind of fun to watch as well. So, so thank you, Shelley, though. I mean, it's going to be so fun. And Allie's in the room. Allie's accepted.
Allie Jeffs,
so
Sean Martinez's partner?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
So I'm
Good
excited about that as well. Yeah. So we're gonna have some fun questions and see kind of what happens, and just kind of keep it fun and light. And Jimmy Fast is in there. Any of you boys that get a little out of line that need to be bounced from that room, you can come and observe, but Jimmy's going to keep it a safe and fun place.
Jimmy Fast is the equivalent of my SEAL Team 6. That's how I see him.
I love it.
So I'm going to share a little secret with you about asking Shelley, since you want to find out more. So first of all, I would rather, of course, that you focus on Shelley and what she's doing. But if you have any questions about me, rather than use my name, if you ask a question about Shelley's partner, if you don't use my name, usually she answers it. That's what you have to do.
This is good intel.
Yeah.
I'm going Sean Martinez style. I'm going for intel.
Yeah.
So this is good information to know.
Yeah.
So,
Intel is good. So yeah, just ask her a question, and if you want to know about Toby, just ask her about her partner. So usually she answers.
Okay, and then if we do ask her about her husband, should we say husband and then your partner? Is that the right terminology?
Because I'm her business partner.
Okay.
We happen to be search partners, but the three of us plus Jason are the search team. But I've for 6 years now, or 7 years, I think we calculated, we've been business partners, and so you can ask her about her partner.
Okay, well, and we tried to get all the boys out of the room, but Mike Calazar is in the room, and he is my business partner, and he will be in the room. He will be muted, though, but he will be there for all the technical support, and then, of course, Jimmy Fast. So we do have a couple boys supporting, but this is going to be all-female perspective, and there's lots of different perspectives coming in. So I'm hoping to have it's going to be a great time. So hopefully we just continue it on.
I plan to be there watching, so we look forward to it.
Great. Well, have fun tonight, and I'm in the chat room.
All right, thank you. Say hi to K-Pro from the Raven's Nest.
Yeah. I love it. Good night.
Good night. So, Jamie Jordan, I noticed that you called while I was speaking with K-Pro. Please feel free to call again. I'm imagining what you did is it looks like I've got a voicemail, but this would be a good time right now to call me, Jamie, so we can talk to you and see how things are going with you. Let's see. Yeah, so I do have a voicemail.
Hi, Toby Eunice. This is Jay Diggins. I was just driving around here in beautiful New Mexico and thinking about the latest Scrapbook 190. What is your take on Forrest's latest Scrapbook 190 about Eric Sloan and the white sheets at the Taos Pueblo? Curious to hear your thoughts, and anybody else. Thanks. Bye.
All right, so what that was, Jay Diggins is Jamie Jordan, so she did leave us a voicemail. But Jamie, call back so we can talk about this. Hang on, I've got to get back to my, somehow that's on the smart line voicemail. We'll get back to that and talk about that in just a minute. I did read Scrapbook 190 that's on Dale's site. My issue with the scrapbooks is they always seem to be on the edge of whether or not it's quality intelligence. And although I've read it, I haven't broken it down into and again, you've got to see the show on Thursday for any of this to make any sense to you. So ultimately, at one extreme, you can take down, you can break down everything that Forrest has written or said and consider it intelligence, and then eliminate it based on your level of confidence in that intelligence. And again, we're going to talk about that. And I haven't had a chance to do that with Scrapbook 190. Anytime he refers or he talks about Eric Sloan, I always feel like there's something there, because we are of the opinion that his relationship with Eric Sloan was very special to him. And we think he was influenced in what he did with Eric Sloan, and I think he was influenced in terms of how he made the decisions that that resulted in him hiding a treasure. I think that's based on a little bit on his relationship with Eric Sloan. So I've got a question from the chat room. Sean Martinez asks, what did I get in the way of technology? Here we go. Hey, you've reached Gypsy Kiss. What's your question? Who are you? Where are you from? And what's your question?
Hey, this is Dale Richards from Salt Lake City, Utah. How are you doing?
Hey, Dale. So it is pronounced Dale as opposed to Dal, right?
Yes, I am Dale. Dale Richards.
Oh, okay. All right. So what do you got going?
Well, I just wanted to call and say I like what you got going here. I actually like all of the YouTube channels. My wife and I, we joined the search a few years back. She was really into it, and I was just kind of supportive because I like to travel. Mm-hmm. But it's turned into a little bit of an obsession for both of us. It's been fun. It's been exciting, and we've had a good time with it. But mostly we kind of really appreciate the YouTube shows. We originally did a lot of research on Reddit and started looking at the forums, but mm-hmm. I don't know. It seems like sometimes those get a little bit hostile, and we thought, well, we kind of moved over to the YouTube and found that the folks here are a lot more fun, and they seem to be well behaved, even on the shows where they don't have to be well behaved.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's really true.
Been a good time ever since.
Yeah, I think we tend to moderate our chat a little bit more than probably anybody, but I've noticed that even in the programming that doesn't moderate their chat, it stays pretty. There's a lot of discussion, but they look like they too avoid the ad hominem attacks. And people can talk with each other and have a good time, and propose theories and ask questions. So we like it a lot. We think it's a more contemporary model, that it's more in line with kind of how the internet is right now, where the interaction is real and immediate and live and immediately responsive. It's that instant gratification. I can propose something and get a response to it. And we've made a commitment to our channel to kind of increase that level. That's why we added the 1-800 call or the 1-800 line and the text lines, the voicemails, et cetera, because that provides us the opportunity to engage with the community and have them be part of our show. It's one thing for us to have a program. It's a lot more fun to have a program that incorporates all the community with their ability to call and text and chat and all of that happening at once. So we like it a lot. We're having a great time with it. So if you don't mind me asking, what state are you and your beautiful wife searching in?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell anyone that. No, there. I'll tell you this though.
Okay.
I didn't call to talk much about our actual
Search
strategy and solution that we've been chasing down since I think about April.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been very promising. We enjoy it quite a bit, but mostly, it's been good for us. Like I said, I got into this search a few years ago, and it was more me supporting her. She found it. She uncovered Forrest Fenn and said, "We got to get his books. We got to do this." So I ended up buying all 3 books for her as presents over the years. And then, we ran into a couple stumbling blocks in our life. It was last year. I think it was a 2-day. Things come in threes, and it was quite the hit. Found out she had cancer on a Sunday, and on Monday I found out I was getting laid off.
Oh gosh!
And so, yeah, it was a hit. It was a big hit, but we kind of looked at it and said, how are we going to face this? And jumped into Cobra, jumped into savings, and got her treated. I started looking for another job, didn't worry about it too much because I had a good savings. And she beat it. She beat the cancer fairly quickly, and she was strong. But in the process, she lost her mobility and had trouble walking. And so the doctors told her she just had to do as much physical therapy, as much walking, as much assisted help as she could. And we found that out on Christmas night when she collapsed. It is when it all started. But that was over a year ago. But I knew she was really motivated for this search, so we kind of decided to do some more serious searches together, and I agreed to it because it excited her and it made her want to walk more. So we did quite a few boots on the grounds, and the more we did, the better she got her mobility back, and it got to the point where her tremors went away and she could do some pretty long hikes, and it's been really, really good to us. So we've been really rewarded just from that aspect of the chase. So even if we never recover or find the treasure, it's been a treasure for us. So I just kind of want to let everybody know that I respect everybody, respect your opinions and your kindness out there in the chat and the groups, and I know I get a little cryptic in there. I am a little defensive of ourselves because we think it's that good, but we're having fun. We're real people, and we're doing our best to solve this thing like everybody else.
Well, Dale, first of all, I want to thank you for having the courage to tell that personal a story in a public chat room like this. I know that there are stories like that. We don't get to hear them often. Sometimes when we do hear them, we get to do something about them. That's the first thing. So thank you for that. Second thing is, if anybody ever wonders why any one of us do this, look for the treasure, I think we can all point to something in our lives that has changed as a result of looking for this treasure. Now, not a lot of us are experience that kind of change with the kind of drama that you have, but I think it's an indication of what you can find in this treasure hunt, even if, as you said, you never find the actual treasure. There's other things to be discovered, and there are other things, obviously, in your case. And, I don't have the kind of drama in your life that you're experiencing, but at age 69, I can tell you that I feel rejuvenated, and it keeps me interested, and I have a sense that it's going to help me live longer. So congratulations to you. I find the fact that you could A, tell that story, and B, that you told that story very inspirational. And I hope that everybody else who hears that story can take it and look at how they see the search and incorporate that. Shelley did a show last night on the 4 doors in this building, and one of them was the happiness door. And the more time you spend at the happiness door, the better your life gets. So congratulations to you and your wife for that. I hope that she continues on her road to recovery and that she lives a long and fruitful life. And I further hope that you two find more than just this treasure, but perhaps even Fenn's treasure as well.
Oh, we will. And I did forget one thing. Once she started walking in, things got better. And I didn't have to dedicate myself full-time to her and the kids. I went back and I got work. So we're good there. I know I didn't say, I said I was unemployed, but I'm not anymore. Things are good here. We're taken care of, and life is moving forward. And, anybody else out there who wonders what their next step is going to be, just be positive and believe in yourself. I mean, that's what it comes down to, is it's confidence in yourself. And you have that, and you'll go wherever you want to go.
Well, again, good advice, and congratulations, and our best wishes to your wife and you and your future. Thanks for calling in this evening.
Thanks, Toby.
My pleasure. You take care. Wow. You love hearing those kinds of stories. That, you know what? That gets... That's how those kinds of stories make me feel. I hope they make you guys feel the same way. So I can't remember if I answered Jay Diggins' question, and that is, Jay Diggins, I read the new scrapbook 190, but I haven't done a complete analysis on it, and anything I would give you at this point would be kind of preliminary in terms of understanding. I think, as usual, it's good intelligence, and one has to decide. It's incoming intelligence, and one has to decide whether it's good or not. So let me go back to the question that Sean Martinez asked me about the technology that I bought this week, or that we implemented this week. The only thing that we've implemented this week is a product called Boss Jock, and it gives me the ability. It's a runs on an iPad, and it gives me the ability. Hold on, let me answer this call, and I'll finish this question. Hey, caller, can I ask you to hold just for a second so I can finish answering this question?
Sure.
Just hold on a sec, all right? So what I wanted to say is that we've implemented Boss Jock, and what Boss Jock gives me the ability to do is select sounds, and they include,
housekeeping, you want towel?
And Shelley's housekeeping, and I saw Cal Lazars is in the room, so that's for Cal Lazars. And if your conversation goes too long on the telephone, I'm going to give you one of these. It's done, brother. So Boss Jock runs on an iPad, but you have to collect each one. And Shelley's the master at collecting those sounds, and we put them on Boss Jock. But the other advantage, and it has what it calls carts in it, and you can fill these carts with almost anything. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks is I'm going to get all the famous Fenn quotes from all the various programs, and I'm going to program them into this. So when somebody says, "When did Fenn say this?" I can pull up the exact quote. If it's an audio one, like, you begin it where you have to find where warm waters halt, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll be able to put those quotes in there. And when somebody says, "What is that?" Do you have that quote? And I can't be blamed for misquoting Fenn anymore. Boss Jock, Carl Lazar's question, and your question is, a Boss Jock on the iPad costs $10. Which is just amazing to me. It's a heck of a piece of software. So, okay, caller, let's go back to you. I'm sorry to make you. Caller, I'm sorry to keep you holding that long. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Oh, it's Dwight Brewer. I'm Matt Brewer's dad.
Oh, hey, Dwight.
And hi.
Hi.
And hi. I was wondering if I missed a program, or it seems like nobody is giving any importance to the first part of the poem before "Begin at Where."
You know what, Dwight, your timing is actually perfect, and the reason is our friend and fellow YouTuber Sean Dotson, on the flip side, put out a YouTube challenge this week, and he asked us to express our opinions on what we thought that first stanza was all about. And I think at this point he has probably 20 of those responses. So if you go to the flip side of the Fenn treasure and go to his homepage, to his YouTube channel, and click on playlists. Click on his playlists, and you'll see round table number 2, the first stanza. And I believe there are, YouTubers who have a big presence on YouTube, as well as people who are making their first video or making videos specifically to respond to this question. And the last time I looked, I think there were 20 responses. There are probably more by now, by the time I'm doing this show. So that would be, it has been discussed, and we included a response. We have a video that we did, I don't know, probably a year ago, called 9 Clues, Schwein Clues, the Fenn's poem is a sandwich. So it has been discussed, and I think if you look on the various YouTube channels, you can find some of that discussion. But as I said, if you go to his Sean Dotson's The Flip Side of the Fenn Treasure Hunt, his playlist, the most recent playlist, has 20 videos relating to that particular topic.
I see. Because when I read that poem, I think in terms of, you wouldn't have put those lines, those preamble lines in there if they didn't have importance. And so to me, saying and hint of treasures new and old, that was my confirmation. New and old is New Mexico. New and old Mexico. And then I got another confirmation out of bold, because he says you need the poem and a map. So you're looking for something bold.
Well,
and
this latest playlist is going to be right up your alley, because there are probably, I'm going to guess, 4 or 5 people that agree with you on literally the 2 opinions that you just expressed. So there are others thinking that way as well. So take a look at them. I think it'll have a basis for some continued discussion. And, of course, hang out in the chat room and kind of talk with the other folks in there, because everyone has an opinion. I don't think, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think anyone discounts anything in the poem. It's just that, Fenn has told us, begin at where warm water's halt is the first clue. See, this would be a good time to have that card in here. But I don't think anybody discounts the first stanza. I think there's a lot of different opinions on the first stanza. Some of the ones that you just mentioned are familiar to me. So I'm going to recommend you go look at that playlist. So are you and your wife still planning to be out here around Christmas time?
Yes. Who am I talking to?
Toby.
Toby.
Yes. Yeah, the one you sent the email to. I'm your son, Matt Brewer's. Okay. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
So you didn't put that quite together.
As, on the TV.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, if you guys are coming out at Christmas time, make sure you let us know so we can get together for. I think you promised us dinner, didn't you?
Yeah. Although I haven't. There evidently is not a steakhouse in Albuquerque.
No, that's just crazy. No, there are some great steakhouses, and I know all of them, because I'm a steak and potatoes kind of guy.
Did you fly or own a Taylorcraft?
No.
Didn't I see a picture?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did see it. It's a red one that was at the Manassas airport. Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
That's an old one. I haven't flown. I haven't flown since the early '90s.
I had a 46
Mm-hmm.
T craft with 65 horsepower.
One of the.
I flew from Burbank to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
One of the
3
best.
days.
One of the best tail draggers that was ever designed, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, make sure
Average,
when you come out
5
here,
knots.
when you come out here,
Yep.
and we have dinner, we'll talk flying an aircraft. How's that?
Sure. Okay.
All right, sir. Well, thank you for calling. I'm glad you called tonight. I'm glad we got to talk, and I'm glad you finally realized I'm the same guy.
It just didn't sound the same as on the TV.
Yeah, that's true. My best to your wife.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Have a
See
good
you
evening.
then.
Bye-bye. So that was Matt Brewer. You know, Matt Brewer is our friend that's been on occasional panels, who happens to own a drone company in Arizona. And I don't know, a couple of months ago, his father, Dwight, the gentleman that I just talked to, saw us on one of the programs and just wanted to talk, seen the picture of me standing next to that Taylorcraft, that red Taylorcraft, and wanted to talk aircraft. And so I'm pleased to see that he called in tonight. I guess I was surprised that he didn't recognize us. Hey, there we go. Here's a Davio call. These are always fun. There we go. So it's Davio from San Francisco. What's your question?
Well, sir, you know what I've been noticing?
What have you been noticing?
This is far. Well, it's just people and their search solves. They're very emotional. People have beliefs. I believe this is the answer. I believe this is, the solve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding that it's extremely emotional. People really hang on to this really tight because some of the emails I got were kind of, like I'm all in on this kind of thing. It was just really interesting. I just thought I would bring up the emotional factor that comes along with this, as opposed to, sterile kind of fact and numbers kind of a thing. It's more like, oh, I got a good feeling about it over here. It's kind of like, hey, what is this, poker? We're playing poker? It's kind of like that, emotional poker.
That's interesting that you should mention that, because we know that that the one distinction between humans and all the other creatures and objects on the planet is that we are simultaneously rational and sentient. So we are capable of experiencing feelings and emotions at the same time. We can think and be logical. So when you discovered that people were emotional about their solutions, how did that surprise you? What did you think of that?
Well, I was surprised in myself because I failed so miserably, like straight out of the gate. It's like, well, that was completely wrong. I'm an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go look at everything again. And then I lucked out and found this one big major clue. And then off I go.
Mm-hmm.
And I had great success. And then I was clearly wrong when I was wrong. I would think, okay, well, it's going to be just around this corner, and that's the last clue. And no, it's the beginning of a bunch of other things. So the emotional factor I found in myself on this is really, a lot like rock climbing. When you go rock climbing and you make it to the top, and then you get all the way down to the ground, there's a big emotional release from this because you planned it for months, you've worked hard for it, you've saved up money, you finally made it to Yosemite, and then you get to do this big thing, and you find yourself kind of just shaking and needing a couple of beers. It's really, I'm finding it's similar to that. There's a lot of buildup, emotional, intellectual and emotional simultaneously build up, and then wham!
Well, Davio, that is a really, really intriguing analysis, and I can see how you might have experienced those things. We certainly experience them when we're on our recons and returning from them. The excitement of heading up north, and the lack of excitement as we drive back without the treasure. But Shelley's last plan was probably a really good one, where we decided that we would make it a vacation and spend a week.
There you go.
Right, make it a vacation, and rather than focus on the treasure, focus on the vacation, and that way, when we don't find the treasure, it's just part of the vacation, right? So we can come back and be happy with that.
I think that's the big picture for what Fenn wanted, which is why the innuendos about Yellowstone, so kids would go, we got to go there.
Right.
That's
get away from the little
us,
texting machines.
People,
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Then there's the whole obsessed group out here that is seeing it as this is the quest for my life.
Yeah.
I'm going. This is the sword. I can pull it out of the stone. That's kind of the idea we've got, which I love.
Yeah.
It cracks me up.
So,
well, sir, I wanted to thank you for not giving away the email that I sent you, which had the keyword into it. I thought you were really great like that. So you're an honorable man, sir. So carry on, and much love to everybody out there in the world.
If you tell me that you were sending me something and you want it to be between the two of us, I promise to keep it that way. I won't make it public.
Good man.
All right.
Good man.
So
carry on.
Thank you, sir. It's been wonderful talking to you as usual. So let me see if I can hang you up. Plus, I have your own sound. I picked this sound just for you. All right. So when I hang up, I'm gonna. Okay, are you ready for this? This is the Davio.
I'm ready. Go for it.
This is the Davio sound effect.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's it, baby.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's.
Did you see that thing they did on me on CBS because of that petroglyph deal?
No, I didn't.
Me the Indiana Jones. That cracked me up. You're kidding me.
Send me the link so I can share it with everybody. Send me the link so I can share it. All right. All right, sir. You have a good evening.
Right on, brother.
Thanks for calling.
Good night. Ciao. Love to everybody. Ciao, ciao.
My friend Davio. I like to think of it as my friend. Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the text messages in the room. Let me see. So this is from William from West Monroe, Louisiana. A lot of Louisianans texting in recently, which I think I like. I like Louisiana. New to the search, is that a golden EIB microphone that I have seen in previous videos? You just curious. Love your show. Thank you for all the good logical information and sifting through to the heart of the search. William, no, we have a pair of these. I don't use them often because I like the headset, but the one that you see is this one here. Hang on, let me put this down so you can see it. And it's actually a beautiful looking and a beautiful sounding microphone, and we use it for Shelly. I use it on occasion. It's a Florian BM800. So, no, it's not EIB, although somebody claimed the other day that I did remind them of Rush Limbaugh. So, no, it's not. It's Florian BM800. So, answered call from, okay, missed that one. Let's see. Text message from Illinois Ghost. He did text it, but didn't. Rick, finish your text message because I don't see a text message on here. So I got a message from Shelly Carney. Shelly Carney is a famous searcher from the Albuquerque area. She's been on all kinds of boots on the ground, and she asks, you started a trend. Everybody in the chat room wants their own sound effect played when you talk to them. So right now I only have 20. I'm going to add 15 more to my carts here. So I only have a total of 35. But yeah, I guess I have to come up with. All right, so here, do this. I don't know if I can do it for everybody, but make sure that in your comments tonight, or send me a text message. No. Do it in comments. In the comments tonight, tell me what sound effect you think I should have for you. How's that? That'll be interesting. Okay. Somebody just sent a text. They say, hi, Toby. Oops. Okay, hold on. Hi, Susie. Susie, turn off your computer audio so that we don't loop. There we go. So this is
Hi.
Hi,
Toby.
So this is Susie, whose last name we will not mention.
That's right. That's right. It's me. Hi, everybody.
So everybody can say hi to Susie. Susie has her own channel, RF Hecky on YouTube, and I love watching her because whenever I watch her, she makes me happy. And you know what? It's good to have a YouTube.
That's sweet.
It makes me happy. So, what's up?
Well, what I want to talk about is maps. I want to talk about maps because whether you think that Forrest left us numbers or not in either the poem or the book, that's irrelevant. I still don't understand, and I want to know what it looks like for a pilot to fly over, let's say, Laramie, Wyoming, or Gardner, Montana. What does that look like for him as a map coordinate or a map or or what are the numbers or what is it? I have no idea. And just wanted to know if you do.
Yeah, I do, and I can tell you that that over the past 30 years, it has changed significantly. And what made the big change was the access to GPS. Prior to around 1990, GPS was limited to the military and the government. They opened it up to everyone, including pilots. And then what happened was manufacturers started developing technology that enabled you to enter your GPS starting point, your GPS ending point, and whatever your flight plan would tell you was the altitude that you wanted to fly at. What that gives you as a result is, even if you're not flying, if you're flying visual flight rules, you can still use your GPS. So there's two categories there's multiple categories, but the two primary categories for private pilots are VFR, visual flight rules, and IFR, instrument flight rules. And you really had to pay attention in either case to what you were doing, what you were flying. Now with technology that will basically autopilot the aircraft for you using very accurate GPS coordinates, it gives you much more of an opportunity to look out the window. And so while you're looking out the window, of course, there's a screen in front of you with effectively a Google map, right? The satellite map of Google. So now what you can do is you can compare what a satellite image looks like over which you're flying with the reality of what you're looking down on, and you're doing it safely because the aircraft is being piloted by GPS. And not that you're not still responsible for piloting the aircraft and flying it in a very safe way, but what it does provide you is the opportunity to compare what you're actually seeing outside the window with what a satellite image would look like. And what you discover is what you see outside the window, very, very similar to what you discover when your boots on the ground, looks nothing like the satellite image. Because you don't know when it was made, what time of the day, what time of the year, and what year it was made in. But flying an aircraft, or even better, flying a drone, creates additional intelligence that you would not otherwise have if you were simply walking boots on the ground or looking at satellite imagery. So the two extremes are satellite imagery versus boots on the ground, and then in between satellite imagery on this end and boots on the ground on this end, you've got flying in your own aircraft, which of course is very expensive anymore, just because of the required insurance. That's what killed the general aviation industry in the United States, was the cost of insurance. And then just below that is flying a drone. And there is a lot of benefit. I've said this before, the drone isn't going to help you pinpoint the location of the treasure, but what a drone will do is provide you additional intelligence about the area in which you're searching. So anytime you're above the ground, whether it's via drone imagery or flying an aircraft, you're always going to have additional intelligence. Is that too long an answer for you? I'm sorry. You picked a couple of topics.
That's okay. That's good.
You picked a couple of topics that are some of my favorite topics, so I can go on for hours about those particular topics.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Then, when he climbed in his airplane to fly Olga's ashes to Taos, how did he find that on the map? How did he find Taos Mountain on a map?
Okay.
What do you do as a pilot?
Yeah. As a pilot, you're required to use a set of maps that are designed specifically for pilots. And you can actually find them online. And I don't know the exact URL for them, but if you look for VFR maps, you will see the maps that pilots use to plan their trips. They have to use them because
V as in Victor.
V as in Victor.
As in Victor. F
Yeah.
as in Frank.
Victor, Frank,
Okay.
Romeo, VFR, Visual Flight Rules. And just search VFR maps, and you will be sent to a government facility, basically, that has the maps that pilots are required to use to plan their flights. And the reason is it has information on those maps that you won't find anyplace else. On any other map. In addition to that, it has the routes that you can fly. There's actually route numbers up there that they have to fly if they're flying instrument flight rules. So look them up, and I've used those maps as a way to help me. It turns out that if Fenn were flying from Santa Fe to Cody, Wyoming, his route would take him right over our search area. So you can find those kinds of things out because using these VFR maps that you find on the internet, you can actually plan trips. So if you thought maybe Fenn flew from Santa Fe to Taos Mountain, you can actually see what that trip looks like by planning it out. Or if you wanted to see what he flew over when he flew from Santa Fe to, say, West Yellowstone, for example, you can look at that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So just take a look at those. If somebody else has seen them, I just don't have the actual URL here. But if you just do VFR routing or VFR maps or US VFR maps, it'll pop up, and they're free. You don't have to pay for them. No pilot does, and you can actually do trip planning with them. So you'll get a very good sense of what it was like to fly to Taos Mountain and back to Santa Fe.
Well, thank you so much. I can take it from there with my fancy new computer.
I saw that. Congratulations. Did you say thank you to your Did you say thank you to your sister for giving you such a nice nice computer?
Oh my God, yeah. She, this is going to change my search.
Yeah.
For anyone who knows me, this is going to change everything about what I'm.
You have my email address.
My time.
You have my email address. So over the weekend, if you can't find those VFR maps, send me an email and I'll look for the link for you. Okay.
Well, thanks so much, Toby.
My
This
pleasure.
has been fun. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. So I noticed somebody in the room asked a question about Dan's work. Let me go back to and see. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry I missed that question regarding Dan's work. And I think the question was whether or not he had sold out all of his 80 pieces of art. And the last time I spoke to him, he said he had sold about 20 of the 80 and that they're still selling on eBay. So there was a Freudian slip. My family's, on my mother's side, my family's name is Delgado and Espinosa. So Delgatti Man says the lady on the phone is the one Fenn said if she knew that she was that close, she would faint. No, sir. He said that at the Collected Works bookstore, and the woman he was referring to that night was Stephanie 30acre, who actually asked him the question, and I was there because I recorded it. She asked him, Forrest, who had been closer, and she said Dale or I, meaning Dale Neitzel. And the room started laughing, and he didn't quite hear the complete question, so he leaned over to Michael McGarity, and the reason I know this is because I had a microphone on them, and I heard it in my headset. And he leaned over to Michael McGarity, and he said, what did she say? And Michael McGarity repeated the question to him, and he said, well, if I told her that, she'd have a heart attack, or she'd faint. Something like that. And then just a couple of weeks later, I don't even think it was even a couple of weeks, he repeated that story at Moby Dickens. But the person he was talking to at the time was Stephanie 30acre, and that took place back in 2013. And I don't think our friend Susie has been in the search for that long. So, open phone lines. So I got another question from William in Louisiana. Lots of folks from Louisiana. All those Cajuns down there. Is there anywhere on your channel where I can learn about using thermal imaging cameras in the search? I know that they use it to find gold Krugerrands in South Africa with drones using thermal cameras. William, we did a video a while back on potential, the evolution of drone technology. We think thermal cameras can help, but we haven't done enough research to be certain they can. I do have a thermal camera that I mounted on my Mavic Air, but I just saw that there's another drone company, I can't remember their name. They just announced an integrated system of not a quadricopter, a multicopter. I think it has 8 motors on it, integrated with a thermal imaging camera with a ground station and associated ground station. So you're getting all 3 pieces, the drone, the camera, and the ground station, the thermal imaging camera, and it was like $3,000. So again, as I predicted in that video a while back, the price of this technology continues to go down. And I mean, flying a thermal camera for $3,000, including the ground station, is really an amazing number. I'm not prepared to make that kind of investment. I'm having too much fun just kind of imaging, in the visual light spectrum, the areas that we're searching in. So, Eric Schmidt asks, is Stephanie still searching for the treasure? Eric, I do not believe that she is. As many people know, Stephanie experienced some life changes that affected her ability to do that. If I recall correctly, she moved to Florida, and I think there was a point at which she was effectively out of the search, and whatever involvement she had was implemented in managing Chase Chat, and even that, I think, to some extent, she's turned that responsibility over to other folks as well. So, I do not think that. Shelley responded. I do not think she's active in the search. Okay, 4K drone. Dale Richards, a 4K drone. You can get the Mavic Air which has a 4K camera on it, for around $799 directly from DJI. Okay, anybody else? Let's see. No text message. Okay, phone lines are open. Call. Let's talk. I'm having a good time tonight. I am really happy about this. But if you guys aren't going to call, this is what it sounds like. I don't know. I guess I could give that to one of you guys as well. So, Kyle Lazar's in the room. Oh, don't forget. Hey, I didn't mention it, but if you go down to the bottom of your screen, you'll see that contemporary $sign. And if you want to contribute to our project, please let us know. And any contribution, you add your question to it. I'll make sure it gets answered. I'm not sure I'm going to do that because I can't actually see the chat room. Yeah, I can. Never mind. I can see the chat room. So, all right, got a call, incoming call. Hey, caller, this is a Gypsy's Kiss. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Shane McLaughlin. I'm glad I made it through.
Hey, Shane, how are you doing?
Good. Hanging in there. I'll make it quick. I don't want to tie up everybody's time.
No, come on. That's what we're doing here. It's my show. You can talk as much as you want.
Oh, don't tease me. I'll take up hours and hours. But I just kind of wanted to go back to the original, way back. The original before Forrest cut off this. It was Arizona and Utah, right?
Yeah. No,
that's
I don't.
He said in the beginning he cut off.
I don't remember him saying Arizona. I think he said Idaho and Utah. I don't remember Arizona being. Yeah, it was Idaho and Utah. I don't remember. Anyway.
I probably did get that backwards. But yeah, but my question is, why was he so nervous? I would say nervous, I'm just assuming, in the beginning to exclude those states in the far beginning, but later on said, okay, we can just scratch those off. What was it that they had in similarity with the rest of the Rocky Mountains, what we have currently now to work with,
so
that those could have altered or shape-shifted the plan a little bit, where he felt secure enough to say, it's okay, we can just scratch them off the list?
So I'm trying to remember the order in which that occurred, right? So we do know, of course, that in the book he says it's in the mountains north of Santa Fe. And most everybody who started that search at that time back in 2010 through 2013, a majority of the folks were looking in New Mexico. They weren't expanding beyond that. Then, of course, things changed in 2013 with the release of The Thrill of the Chase, where he gives us the map. And he says it's in the Rocky Mountains. And he has never said, to the best of my knowledge, and if somebody has a quote that contradicts what I'm about to say, I don't ever recall Fenn saying the treasure is in one of New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, or Montana, right? He said, here's a picture of the Rocky Mountains. You can find the treasure on, someplace on this map. He has never said it's specifically in those 4 states, but the problem with that is that if you look at the Rocky Mountains, not only do they stretch into Canada, but there are parts of the Rocky Mountains, by definition, although I'm hesitant to say in Utah, but there are parts of the Rocky Mountains that are by definition in Idaho and Utah. And I think at that point, knowing that it probably didn't hurt the search any, I think what he did is, rather than having people wasting their time and money and effort looking in states where, even though there were Rocky Mountains, there was no possibility of finding the treasure, I think it was one of those things where it was neither a clue nor a, it was like when he told us, don't waste your time in the Rio Grande, right? It was just like, that's the only thing, that's the conclusion we came to, right? So all of those, again, little bits of intelligence, you have to analyze them. Why would he say that? And I think the only conclusion you could come to is that he said it for one of 2 reasons. One, it's not there, and he doesn't want you wasting your time. Or 2, it is there, and he doesn't want you to find it. I don't think 2, I think 1 is plausible, while 2 is not. Is that fair?
And no, of course, yeah. I just wanted your take on that. And the other question I had too, in regards to his book "Too Far to Walk," he makes that comment in his preface.
Yeah.
He actually said, "There's a comment in my preface, or there's a clue in my preface. It doesn't take a genius to figure it out."
Right.
But the way the preface is written, it really could be interpreted both ways. As in, "Too Far to Walk" could be the Madison River, which he has never gone back to, or it could be implying that actually is the clue. That's maybe where. It's too far to walk. That clue itself. I mean, what's your take on that, or what's the community's take on that?
So the problem is, and I hope the community responds to that, the problem with what you're describing was actually the result of the conversation that he had with the people in the room at Moby Dickens. And again, I was there. And what confounded me, or created a conundrum for me at Moby Dickens, is that he said at least 2 things that he tried to rationalize as intelligence in Too Far to Walk. And one thing had to do with the preface, and he said that early on. He made that comment about the 10 miles, the Madison River. Then later on, he used kind of the same phraseology when he was talking about the fact that the Benchmark Map Company had not included the Rocky Mountains north of the Canadian border. And if you look at Moby Dickens again, there's a contradiction between the first of those statements and the second of those statements. So if there was only one clue, the question to me at the end of that presentation was, exactly which one, and I didn't get to ask him. It was one of the questions I wanted to ask him, and because the situation, because he had to get out of there and get back to Santa Fe, I didn't get to ask him that question. So I to this day, I'm not sure which the one piece of intelligence in the Too Far to Walk is. Either the reference to the comments in the preface regarding his 10 miles in the Madison River, or the later in the conversation reference to what Benchmark Maps did by not including the Rockies north of the Canadian border. Go back and look at it, because you leave that going like, oh, then which one is the clue, right? That he insists is there.
Right.
So
I get you. And just one more wacky thing. I'll leave it for you in the community. But in the poem, the original poem that's constructed, where it says "begin at where warm waters halt." What's interesting to me is if you look at the word "where," okay, especially the word "where" on the third line and the first stanza, where it says, "I can keep my secret where."
Where, right?
And looking at the W and going straight down to the word "waters." When you stop on the T, then you kind of bend it out to the right. It actually spells out waters.
Oh.
And the first line of the first clue says, "Begin at where warm waters halt." And if you go to the word "where," it's kind of interesting how the word "where" ties in going downwards to the T and then bends off to the right, and it spells out waters. Do you think that's just a mere coincidence?
You know what? You're going to have to send me an email with that. So I'm having a hard time envisioning it while you're describing it. So I'm hesitant to give you an opinion. But if you could do me a favor and just send me a diagram explaining what you're talking about, that way I'll make a blog post on it and with my commentary. How's that? That's as fair as I can get. Only because I'm trying to put that all together in my head and it's not happening.
All right, guys. I appreciate it.
Just remember that I'm 69. I'm an old man. There isn't a lot of brain matter left up there.
That goes for all of us.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
All right. Thanks for calling in. Okay, got some text messages while we were doing telephone calls. Let's see. Well, somebody is saying hi. So, guys, when you send me a text message, make sure you include your name and your location so I know who's talking here. So, so I can say it's area 801. I don't know where that is. So, just saying hi and a shout out to all the Fenn searchers. Triple exclamation point. But I don't know who that is. So we missed a call. Let's see. Oh, that's Larry again. And okay, so this is William from Louisiana again. He says, I found a FLIR and a thermal imaging drones. Let me see. I found FLIR and thermal imaging drones are available online starting at $1,500 that I have found this week. I would love to come to New Mexico this spring and work together. I think we would need to buy a box similar to what Fenn used, or could construct one if necessary. Then we can use it to test with. The trick would be waiting till the sun goes down and immediately searching the area for a warm metal box. Okay, so William, you it's like you've seen our videos, okay? We've had this conversation. Our theory is that the temperature of the box will be different from the surrounding area. So in the morning it's going to be cooler, and at night it's going to be warmer than the surrounding area. And oh, by the way, if you look over my shoulder over here, you will see a large metal box that we have acquired and filled with metal so that we can do that kind of research. So if you're out here in New Mexico next spring, give us a call. And we got the box and we got the location. We got cool locations that we can go to test this all out. And then we can take the results from our research and share it with the community in one of our shows. Okay? So that would be fun. So, it's a parrot. Yeah, the parrot bebop. They just announced one too. Take a look at this. Gosh, I wish I could remember. Unique. YUNEEC. They just announced a brand new product multi-copter with an integrated thermal imaging camera and integrated with their ground station. And I've never used the Unique products, but I know they're well regarded. They're great technology. So take a look at it. And then if you come out in the spring, I got the box. So we don't have to find a box. We got one. We're using it for our tests. Okay. So question from Julia from Chicago. Hi again, Toby. Do you think that Forrest Fenn could be referring to elevation when he says people have been within 200 feet and 500 feet of the treasure? So if you're any place in the Rocky Mountains, Julia, there is nothing flat, right? So you have to accommodate the idea that 500 feet could include some altitude. Now, I don't think it's directly down, but let me give you an example. In the search area that we spent in which we spent the last summer, right above our search area is the track for the Cumbres and Toltec Railroad, and if you look at it, it's about 500 feet away from where we're standing, but that's a diagonal, the combination of altitude and direct distance, horizontal distance. So there's a Pythagorean theorem kind of triangle in there someplace. So it could incorporate not only altitude but horizontal distance to make the 500 feet. That's a possibility. I'm not saying that's an absolute, but in the case of our solution, when we see that train go by, we all look at each other. We wave. The people wave at us down in the valley as we're looking for things. Everybody waves at us thinking to themselves, what are those crazy people doing down there? But if you look at us, we all look at each other and going like, there's the people 500 feet away from us. So I think you have to consider the possibility that in the mountains, that if you find 200 flat feet, that's really hard to do, or 500 flat feet, that the dimension probably includes either a gain or a loss in altitude just because of the nature of the proverbial, topographical beast. Wow, that was a mouthful. Let's see, what do I get from that? I got this. Okay. Let's see. Okay, it's Bo from Salem, Utah. Oh, so that was Bo just saying hi earlier. So this is Bo, the French Bo, from Salem, Utah. Sorry, forgot to put that in the info. Searching in Colorado. I sent you an email a while back from Maddox, and haven't had the chance to go back yet. Also, thanks for saying the shout out. You're welcome, Bo. I'm glad that you took the time to fill that out. So this is from Shelley Carney. She says, Aaron Ramsey wants your opinion on the latest MW post regarding the LGII and if she needs boots on the ground to find clues 3 to 9. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about in Tuesday's show is evaluating intelligence, the intelligence that Fenn's providing. I said it the other night. We have the advantage that we have one source. We have a single source for our intelligence. It's Forrest Fenn. But one of the things that you have to regulate as you're determining the validity, the quality, the credibility of this intelligence is you have to determine how far removed it is from the original. I looked at that MW post, and basically it was Jenny Kyle expressing an opinion on a conversation she had with Forrest Fenn back in February 2016. And so it's multiple degrees of separation from our source, and you have to incorporate that. So I looked at the quote, and again, the first thing I have to ask myself is, does this help me get any closer to the treasure, or does it provide intelligence that I don't already have? And I felt like this one today, the one that was published today, because it was so many degrees removed from the source, didn't really help me any. But again, I just saw it today. Somebody mentioned early in the chat room before we actually started the show, and so I went and looked at it. So I haven't had time to evaluate it. The same is true, as I said, of Scrapbook 190. Just haven't had a chance to look at it to give you a reasonable answer. Okay, let's see. So Flipside is in. Delgado Man is in. Welder for Hire. God, we got a lot of people in there. Hi, guys. 1061 shot. 1061, I wonder what that means. Christine Kenzie. Zozo Rocks. Look at all the... Nikolai Ostrov. It's a nice Russian name, like that. I used to have a friend named Nikolai in Moscow. Of course, finding a friend in Moscow named Nikolai is not actually too hard to do. Of course, if he is in Moscow, he's staying up some odd hours. I asked our friend Brit Chaser, John Jones, if he was going to watch tonight because he had a question for me, and he said no. I'll be happily asleep, and I don't blame him, of course. Okay, so I think we are getting close to the end of the evening. I don't see any more text. Oops. So remember, guys, call-in line is open. Call with your questions, comments, or anything danged interesting that's happened to you today. So this is Steve from Houston again. Steve from Houston asks, would a drone with thermal be able to see through tree branches and other types of obstructions that would be in the way if the chest was on the ground? It depends, Steve. It depends on a couple of things. Number one, the quality of the camera. And number two, the frequency at which you're setting the thermal imaging, because you can actually change that. So you could change it so that you're ignoring the temperatures. You literally take the temperature of a tree, and you can ignore that. You can use that as a different color, and then if the chest is a different color, it could see it. Now, I don't think where Fenn put the chest is that simple, but again, anytime you can use technology to help you collect more intelligence about the area in which you're searching, the better off you are. So it could, but you have to be good at programming that thermal camera, as you'll find out when you get your first thermal camera. So this is some follow-on from William in Houston, who was talking about the throne. Let's see. Okay, so he sent me a link to the Parrot Bebop Pro thermal drone. Parrot's interesting because they were basically a consumer drone. No, never mind. It was good. They were a fun. They gave us the Parrot Bebop, which was kind of a fun drone. Wasn't hard to fly. Got you images, not 4K, et cetera, et cetera. So it's interesting to see that Parrot has actually stepped up to another level in the its products line. He says, I have not seen those videos. You have so many great videos. How might I find the video where you discuss your thermal drone test? Go to our page where all our videos are and just enter the word drone, and you should see around 3 or 4 of them where we talk about drones, using drones in the search. Another one from Susie says, Susie again, thoughts on Thrill of the Chase only without fluff. Only direction map reference, Gallatin National Forest, page 60. Only land designation, BLM, page 138. The Gallatin, if I remember correctly, is a national forest. So it could be, based on our opinion of where he would hide the treasure, it could be in the Gallatin. And we believe that the BLM, any BLM land is more likely than anything else because it has the least number of constraints on objects found on BLM land. So you don't have to go through the same kind of fanfare on BLM that you would say for a national park. Toby Fan 3000, John Werner. I like the name. I wonder if it's me. Is when you say Toby Fan 3000? Is that this Toby, or are you talking about a Toby that I'm just not familiar with? So Jay Minnesota hit the like. That's good. Jay Minnesota, thank you for that. Unknown Searcher. They had to burn the map to survive. Yeah, well, they had to burn the map to start the fire. In the conditions they were in, it wasn't probably a survival situation, but it was certainly, if you didn't, you were going to get cold and you were going to have a miserable night sleeping. So 800-947-1043. The phone lines are open. Call me, and we'll talk and answer questions. And one of the reasons I want to do these calls is because I want to give you guys the opportunity to express your opinions on some of these matters yourself without even asking a question. I don't have to talk. I'll just listen to you and just help you along with whatever you're thinking, and that way you can push it out into the chat room because they're going to hear it as well, and out into the community. So, just call. Let's talk. I like talking. Can you tell? Otherwise, we'll just have to end the show for tonight. How are we doing? Oh, it is 8:30. God, I promised I was going to try and keep it. I promised Shelley I was going to try and keep it to an hour because what she said is nobody. This is my partner, my wise business partner. Reminds me that nobody is going to watch a 2-hour long show. So let's keep it down to an hour, big boy. So, my wise business partner. So I don't know if I can find sound effects for everybody, but I'll try and find some of the more prominent people that I did. I had a couple, like I said, I knew K-Pro was going to be in, so I'll give her the Raven's Nest, and that Cal Lazars was going to be in, so I want to give him that. And every time I think of Davio, I think of this. And there's my personal favorite.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
All right, we got a call. Let's see who's calling in. Hey, Searcher, this is Gypsy's Kiss. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
Hey, Toby, it's Larry again.
Hey, Larry. Must be a slow night for you, brother.
Yeah, well, I'm watching you here. I don't know if you remember while you and Shelley were on vacation, I sent you a song that I did called The Thrill of the Chase song.
Yeah, I do have it. I still have it. You didn't give me permission to use it. You didn't say what I could do with it.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to send it to you.
You know what you can do? Just send, if you have it, do you have it in like an MP3 file?
It's an MP4 file on my iPhone.
So, no, that's an M4A file. Is it an audio file or video file?
Right. It's audio file.
So, do me a favor. So, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to convert it so I can play it on the show. But do me the favor of send me the file that you have, whatever it is, and then I'll convert it into MP3, and then I can play it on next week's show.
Okay, where do I send it to?
gypsyskiss@gmail.com.
At Gmail, okay.
Yeah,
all right,
and if you do that, just send me whatever you have on your phone, and I will convert it to the necessary format to play it on the PC. Now, we just got, you guys can't see it, but sitting over there on my table is our brand new Dell T3600 workstation. 64 gig. It's just Xeon 8-core Xeon processor. So I'm going to be spending the next week incorporating Sean Martinez. That is the technology that I'll be implementing this coming week. So, but Larry, if you send that to me, and then make sure that in your email you give me express permission to play it on our channel, however we choose.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
That'll be fun. So you wrote a song about the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt?
Well, I used the poem and put it to music, and then I added my own. I wrote a chorus that goes. I do the first 3 stanzas and do a chorus, and then the next 3 stanzas.
Well, that is damn cool. That's very talented. I'm jealous.
Thank you.
The only musical instrument I know how to play is the kazoo.
I heard that about on one of Forrest Fenn's interviews.
All right, sir. Okay, send it to me, and I'll play it next week. I'll play it on the program next week.
Okay, Gypsy's Kiss at Gmail.
gypsyskiss@gmail.com. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
All right, sir.
I'll send it away.
Thank you. And anybody else who has music that they've composed, either for The Search, for Forrest, for Shelley, for me, send it to us. And you just have to remember, you have to give me written permission when you send in something like that to be able to use it. And that's true of anything. If you send me your pictures or your videos, whatever, and you're sending them to me so that I'll play them on the program, you have to give me written permission to do that in order for it to appear on our YouTube channel. Let's see. Oh. So area code 214, you have a great question here, and I would like you to retext it with your name and where you're from, because I want to ask this question. I think it's a really good question, but I don't know who you are and where you're from. Okay, this is Vicky and Chloe. I always like the name Chloe. Every time I hear the word name Chloe, I think of, what's her name? Is it Chloe? I want to say Evgeny, but I can't remember her name. So this is from Vicky and Chloe in Louisville, Kentucky, which is a town that I like. Toby, did Fenn say that the treasure was north of the city of Santa Fe or county of Santa Fe? Wow. So he first said that the treasure, he placed the treasure in the mountains north of Santa Fe. So that's how we come up with the Rocky Mountains. Then in 2013, he discovered the Rocky Mountains, and he said the treasure is on this Rocky Mountain map. There is a we were actually going to do a story about this. There is a I'll never remember his name. It's been a while. Richard. Somebody help me with a name. Richard. Heather Dawn? Heather Dawn? Okay, hold on just a second. Let me answer this question. I'm going to put you on hold, okay? Just stay on the line. Okay, so there is a story that comes out where somebody did this big analysis, and it was done by a person who called themselves Forrest Fenn, but they spelled Forrest wrong, and Fenn would never do that. And it was on Richard Saunier's blog, blog. And then Saunier was keeping this really good blog about Fenn. And then I'm trying to remember what it was called, Mountain something. Anyway, somebody came on one day after Saunier had talked. The title of the blog post was Fenn the Surveyor, something like that. This goes back a while. And in that, after that, somebody wrote a comment on that blog post that described, he talked about how measurements were made, and he used this example of chain links. And at the end of all this, he said that the treasure was at least 66,000 links north of Santa Fe, and somebody else after that converted that 66,000 links into a distance of 8.25 miles. And then at some point, someone asked Fenn about, is the treasure 8 miles north of Santa Fe? And he said yes, because he was tired of people digging up their neighbors' homes. Shelley and I, after doing an analysis of that comment, do not believe that Fenn wrote that told that story about the Roman horses and the links and the hectares. If I can find it, I'll do a show on it, because I actually had stored the materials, because after you analyze that, Fenn, I will bet dollars to donuts, Fenn did not write that comment. Okay, so he never, and to answer your question, he has never said that it was where it was 8. He's the only thing he did once is he nodded his head when somebody asked him if it was 8.25 miles north of Santa Fe, and he did not say it was north of the city of Santa Fe, the city line of Santa Fe, the county of Santa Fe. No one knows the answer to that question, but I don't think Fenn said that. Okay, let me get back to Heather here. Heather, you still there?
Yeah.
Hi.
I also read that too. It had something to do with telephone poles and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a long time ago. It was back in 2015 on Richard Saunier's blog, and soon after that, he had an accident and he broke his leg, and he did enough damage to his leg that he decided to retire. And the last I heard from him, he and his wife are living in Arizona. So they've never actually returned to, I think he was in New Mexico, but it was a great blog and it's on there, and it requires some additional analysis. So hi, sweetie, why are you calling? What's up?
I just have a question. Do you think that it's still possible to find the treasure this year?
Well, that's a good question. Do I think? I think it is possible. If someone knew where the treasure is, it is possible to recover it. I don't have a high level of confidence that it will be recovered this year if what you're calling this year is to the end of 2018. I think
let's before November.
Yeah, no, I do not have confidence that it'll be recovered before November unless there's something, but I'm going to be honest with you, and that is I don't have any more intelligence about whether it's going to be recovered than you do. So for me to say that is simply a guess, right? I'm guessing it will not be recovered this year. And when I say this year, I'm talking about 2018. As Jamie Jordan just reminded me in the chat room, the thing that I always say, anything is possible.
Amen.
So
Okay,
do you have plans for recovering it?
I do, actually. I have to drive up to Montana on Monday to see my pain doctor because I'm in a lot of arthritis pain. And then Tuesday, I'm going to go on boots on the ground, and I'm confident. So.
Well, I hope you find it, sweetie. And if you do, tell us, take some pictures and share the pictures, okay?
Yes, of course. After I would let Ben know.
Of course. I wouldn't expect you to do anything less. All right.
Well, have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Heather Dawn. Okay, text message coming in from Bo in Salem, Utah. What do you think about the word Romanesque when Forrest describes the chest? I wonder if it is being hugely overlooked. Romanesque refers to an artistic period. So if I were to say the chest U is of modern design, that represents a period from around the early 50s to around the late 1960s. That's the modern period. Romanesque is a period that dated from around the year 1000 to around the year 1200. And if I remember correctly, he states that he believes that bronze chest was cast around 1150 AD or BC, after the Common Era, ACE, AD. Anno Domini. So that's when he says 1150, he's actually referring to that artistic period that's referred to as Romanesque. So that's where it comes from. And I don't know necessarily if that is that any kind of intelligence. I certainly couldn't draw a link between the word Romanesque to describe the bronze chest and anything that I see in the book or the poem. So there may be something there, but I just haven't researched it. I think he was just trying as much as possible to accurately describe the chest. So as when he says Romanesque, he's just describing the artistic period in which it was cast. Okay? So let me see any more text questions from Justin in Dallas. Oh, a.k.a. Minotaur Moreno. Oh, we got a bunch of them. Okay. Oh, that was the question he asked earlier. If the searcher you are now could talk to the searcher you were when you started, what would you tell yourself? I would tell them to go to gypsykiss.com and read and apply the 10 steps that I've indicated in the sticky post at the top of that, because that would be the most helpful to a new searcher. And I wish somebody had done that with me, because if they had done that with me, I wouldn't have come to as close as I did to drowning my own son in the Rio Chama at spring melt. So that's what I would tell a new searcher. That is, go read that set of 10 steps, and you will be far better informed than you are today, and you will have a head start on finding that treasure. It would be the way. So that's what I would tell them. Justin in Dallas, Minotaur Moreno. If the searcher, so he's asking the same question. A second question from Justin in Dallas, AKR Minotaur Moreno. In your opinion, does Mr. Fenn give clues always in his weekly words? If so, why? If not, why not? So I'm going to get Justin. You have to watch my show on Tuesday. I am past the evolution of my research into this treasure, where I am going to describe things as clues, hints, or words, or scrapbooks. It's all intelligence. And it has various levels of value. And it has to be, the only thing it has to be is from the source. And so once you determine if the source is credible, you have to determine if the information is credible, and there's 10 layers of that. So let me give you an example, and I'm going to talk about this on Wednesday. If you say begin at where warm water's halt, the first thing you have to do as an intelligence analyst is you have to decode that. Then you have to figure out where it came from. Then you have to figure out how credible. So you have to determine the credibility of the source, and then you have to determine the credibility of the information. And then you have to determine whether or not it is actionable. So, and I'm describing a very complex process in a very few steps. But if you quit, not you, but if we quit trying to determine what are hints and clues and assume that everything we get from Fenn is one of two things, it is either intelligence or it is counterintelligence. And then start there and start breaking it down and determining its value. A piece of intelligence where he says, and we have the source, we have him saying this on tape or digital media. He says the first clue is begin at where warm waters halt. That's a great piece of intelligence. Now, do you want to debate whether that's a hint, a clue, or something else? Or do you just want to determine its credibility, both in terms of source and information value, and whether it's actionable or not in the context of your search solution? So on Tuesday, the title is going to be very similar to the title of the blog post that I wrote last week. The title of Tuesday's show is going to be the equivalent of "Stop wasting your time debating the difference between hints and clues, and here's why." Because it's a waste of time, and I refuse to do it because it's a waste of time. It's intelligence or counterintelligence, and then it's either if it's credible or not, and if it's credible or not, it's actionable or not. And I'm going to tell you how to do that and how we do it, and how a good intelligence analyst, or not a single analyst, but how an intelligence community would handle it. So we're going to talk about that. Don't ask me about hints or clues, because every time you do, I'm going to give you that same long answer. It's too long. So it's eye-opening. It's just watch Tuesday's show, because it will just be amazing. This is too much fun. Okay, so where are we at time-wise? 8:52. All right. I promised my partner that I wouldn't go 2 hours, so I'm going to end in 3 minutes. No, we'll go the 2 hours. And so Bo from Salem, Utah says, oh, thank you. You're welcome, Bo. Thanks for asking the question. It was a lot of fun. Where did I see that? Virgil, it's all intelligence, but at some point you can determine whether it's credible or incredible, and whether it's actionable or inactionable. It's all intelligence. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's, I don't know about you guys, but we had a peak concurrent to 95. That's a good night. Good Friday night. A lot of fun. Shelley Carney, I hope you're doing well out there. And you guys, I discovered something new tonight, and that is I can scroll through not only the comments on YouTube, but from the comments on Facebook and Twitch and Periscope. And all I got to say about you guys watching on Periscope is you guys are high, okay? Because you're not making any sense whatsoever. So, okay, I'm going to turn the phone line off so that we can start closing down tonight's program. Now, remember that 1-800 line? You can still send me text, but you can't you can't call me right now because that's shut down. You can still send me text messages, and you can still leave voicemails. And I will reserve those text messages and voicemails for next week, and that's how I'll start next week's program, getting those, I don't mean getting them out of the way, but we'll start with those so those are addressed. So if you have any questions, any comments, you can send them in a text message, or you can leave me a voicemail, which I think the chat room prefers because you have to be very concise. Remember, like Doug, it gives you about 2 minutes before it cuts you off. Okay, so try and get your question or comment in the first 2 minutes so that it doesn't cut you off. So one last one from Susie. Susie says, so fun. Thanks, Toby and Shelley. Thank you, Susie. We're glad you enjoyed it. We hope we had, let's see, how do I say this? We hope that you had as much fun as we did, because these literally are always fun. So remember that I will put up my lineup on Monday. That tells you what we're going to be doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And our It's All About You interview next week on Friday at 1 p.m. is going to be live, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun because the searcher that we're bringing on is just a lot of fun. You're going to love it. I think we're going to love it. But as usual, we're going to keep it a secret right up until Friday. Next week's topic is going to be, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't quite figured out the topic line, the subject line, but it's the equivalent of stop debating hints and clues. It's not helping us. So it's going to be something like that. Something, controversial like Toby and Shelley do. And you're going to get a short lesson, a brief lesson in intelligence collection and analysis. How's that? We're going to take my experience, and you're going to benefit from that experience. Okay, so is Cape Rose still in the room? Jay Diggins? I'll try, and Jamie, I will try and take a look at that scrapbook so I can give you a better analysis of it. And whoever asked the question about, I think it was Susie, about the question about the new entry on Mysterious Writings. It didn't ping me, I didn't feel like there was anything there. But I'll take a look at it so I'll get a more credible answer, and I'll have something for you next week when we talk. Okay, all right. So, Shelley Carney, thank you for doing a great job of production tonight. I really appreciate your time. I know I promised I wouldn't go 2 hours, but I simply can't help myself. So thank you very much, and I'll figure out a way to make it out. I owe you dinner. How's that? And for those, I didn't see any of our... Did I see any of our moderators in the chat room? I don't think our moderators were in. But for those, for our moderators, thank you for joining us. And for those of you that joined us tonight, Shelley and I know that you have a lot of choices when it comes to your viewing of the various YouTube channels, and we think that you should view them all. That's how we feel about it. But we're very grateful that you take the time to join us, and we hope it's your attention to us that inspires us to continue doing this kind of programming, and to creating the kind of programming that is informative and educational and entertaining, and we just really appreciate you doing that for us. Okay, so let me see if we can outro with that. I'm going to try something different here. Oh man, look at that. So this is Toby Eunice with a Slight Echo with Gypsy's Kiss. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're glad that you could. Join us next week at the same time, same location. And remember, you can always send a text message or leave a voicemail at 1-800-947-1043. Until the next time, I want to tell you that I had another great time, and we're simply just going to keep doing this. We're having too much fun. Good night, everybody.